Hello everyone, thanks for coming back. I want to continue again with communism in Canada. I have to move on here because things are ramping up and ramping up quickly. Our current Prime Minister, this man, Justin Trudeau, is a dictator. He's a tyrant. He's been called out for that in Europe when he went to the European Parliament and spoke. And I want to just tell you the three things. I was just watching this report. To take over, to turn, Canada used to be a democracy. It's not a democracy any longer. It's been hijacked. Just recently, two political parties have ganged up on Canada, and Canada will never again be run by anything else but the Liberal and the NDP coalition. They will not lose. They will never lose. We will never have conservative government or any other kind of government. There are two other political parties here. One's called the Conservative Government. The other one's called the Parti Québécois. The Parti Québécois' only job is to take the province of Quebec out of Canada. And the Conservative Party is kind of like the Republicans in the United States, but they're a little bit, they're not, their backbone isn't as strong as some. They seem to be, right now they're in disarray, in my opinion. And they cannot seem to get it together long enough to consolidate their position, let's say, and take us back to something normal where we can have democracy again. But Canada has never actually had free speech. It was taken away from us in 1981 with the new constitution. It was by this man, whose name is Joseph Philippe Pierre Yves Elliott Trudeau. He changed his name to Pierre Elliott Trudeau because if you use the word Joseph, and this man considers himself to be an intellectual, if you use Joseph, then that sounds too much like Joe Sixpack or Joe Biden or Joe Stalin, all dictators, of course. This man went to see Mao Zedong when he became when he took over China. There's a video of it. He also went to see Fidel Castro, and he was just agog. And in fact, he even tried to paddle a canoe to go to Cuba because there was an embargo, and he couldn't get to Cuba. And the American Coast Guard arrested him shortly offshore. He was paddling his canoe, and he's from Quebec. He's a Frenchman, so he's singing the Quebec national anthem, Alouette, Jean de Alouette, Alouette. Then there was a very loud horn. And he looked up, he looked around, and here is this monster boat. It says U.S. Coast Guard. Maudit, Maudit American. If anyone doesn't know what I just said, it means bloody Americans. Pierre Elliott Trudeau, Joseph Trudeau, hated the Americans. And I don't think his son, Justin, here is much different. I don't think he likes the Americans either. Anyway, in Canada, law got suspended here almost 3 years ago now. This is it, where when law ends, tyranny begins, and that's what we now have in Canada. Just to show you this, we had 45,000 cases in the courts. We can close all the courts in Canada because judges refuse to hear any case. They are told what to do. Judges are under the direct control of this man. He tells them, you can't hear these cases. You can't. We don't have the money for it. Well, he's got lots of money. He's taken us to $1 trillion in debt and climbing really fast. Anyway, I want to tell you, in Canada, there's a real effort, a real plan. Here's the plan. First part by Mr. Trudeau here. First part is identify your political enemies. If you want to change from a democracy to a communist state, you start with that. Identify your enemies. I tell you, this man's father taught communism at the University of Montreal. And he always wanted to be a professor. I mean, he considers himself to be an intellectual. I don't know, I think he may have a bachelor's degree. This man actually studied in London. Fabian communism, Fabian thought or something, whatever it was. Somebody else knows, I'm sure. So, there you go. Identify your political enemies. The second one is to manipulate the media. So this man bought the media for $595 million, which is the CBC in Canada, which is no longer, it cannot cover anything that he does unless he approves it. Generalissimo. Sorry, I had to say that. Anyway, I gotta get my teeth fixed, as you can see. And then the third thing to do, once you've manipulated the media, which he has, he's called out some media as he's got a select private group to rate media people, the Rebel News, he's got them at 1% news. So the Rebel media is suing him in court. And they want to know who these secret people are and what have they been doing. But the courts, unfortunately, all the judges in Canada are politically appointed. The Liberal Party is just appointing them like by the hundred. So the only job they have is to protect the government from the people. Unfortunately, that's how it is here in Canada. So the third thing, send the state police to intimidate. Well, you got to see that. People in Europe got to see it. Yeah, the police have horses and they're trampling people. They were smashing windows out of peaceful protesters' vehicles. They punctured their gas tanks, fuel tanks, and punctured tires. The police, who are very, very well paid, they've got guns. And they can drink and drive, and they do. I worked with the police for a short time. It's like, oh my God. How come you ever see the movie Training Day? There's a lot of truth in that movie. I worked with them and I thought, oh my God, look at this. Anyway, there we go. I'm going to have to make this short. I don't like to make them long. I'm not sure if I can get it onto. I have to add one more thing to it. The only reason that the mask thingy was happening was to get rid of Donald Trump, and it's becoming more and more clear every day. There's a part of the thingy mask stuff. There's a DNA sequence that was designed by Moderna and copyrighted, and it is in every variant. All of it. Isn't that fantastic? And who's a major shareholder? Tony Fauci. People like Rand Paul, who's a medical doctor, and there's more doctors. There's another doctor in the Republican Party, in the Senate hearings, and they're all saying the same thing. Welcome to the laboratory. And the only reason they released it, I mean, who's gonna say anything else? How are you going to get justice here? The media won't cover it. The media is complicit. I'm going to shut up now. Thank you for listening. I hope everyone is well. We here in Canada, I'll tell you, the government of Canada is far more dangerous, and the police are far more dangerous than this group. I'll tell you something about this group. I only know one person in this group, and he's the official spokesperson. I only know him a little bit. I don't know much, but I can tell you this about him. If he makes a deal with you, he doesn't break it. Never. You remember Tony Montana? Tony Montana in Scarface? And he said, at one certain point, and I love this, I'm going to quote him. He says, you know what? I got two things in this world. I got my word, and I got my balls. And I don't break them for nobody. And you know what? They don't break them. He breaks his word. He breaks his word. These people in the Department of Justice, even this woman here, she thought she was doing a great thing by saying, no, we can't hear all these cases. There's 45,000. I have 4 of them. And then she got fired. And then she tried to sue the government. And the government wouldn't hear it. So didn't that turn around and bite her right on the ass? I'm going. Take care, everyone. My friends are going to close the show. Bye-bye.
Wow, Pedro gives you his special gypsy glasses and this is what you choose to look at? Pedro is not very sorry for you.